The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to tonight's TNTP Teaching Fellows webinar on how to ace your recorded video interview. Can I get a quick poll? Can you guys all hear me all right? I believe there should be a button for you guys to click thumbs up or just type in your questions box. I want to make sure you guys can all hear me. Awesome. Thank you. So my name is Anh-Thi. I'm the selection manager for TNTP, and I've been with the organization for 4.5 years. Through my job, I've loved meeting amazing people who want to dedicate themselves to becoming outstanding teachers for our underserved communities. And I'm so glad that you are all here with us tonight. I am on the webcam right now, so if you can't see me, you might want to check on the top left of your screen on your control panel. There is a webcam option. You can just select show webcam, and hopefully you can see me. We do have a lot of people on the line tonight, so you are in listen-only mode to eliminate any background noise. All right, so let's get started. Here is the agenda for today's 30-minute session. I'll start with a brief overview of our program and application process. Then we'll spend the bulk of our time today talking about the recorded video interview. The last few minutes will be saved for your questions, and as you're listening and you have questions that come up, feel free to type them in the questions box on your control panel. I do have an amazing team here on the line with me today to answer your questions. You've all probably at some point have heard from our communications associate, Carol. So she's on the line to help answer any general questions that you might have about the program. And of course, since today's session is focused on our unique interview process, we have Adam on the line, who is our selection associate, and he's here today to help answer questions specific to the video interview in the interview system. Those of you who have already been invited to the interview have likely already been receiving emails from him. So Carol and Adam will respond to your questions through the chat box, and they'll hold any commonly asked questions to discuss verbally in our last few minutes. And there are a lot of you on the line. If your question does not get answered, don't fret. We are keeping a running log of it, and we'll be able to follow up with you after today's presentation. All right, so let's jump right in. What is TNTP? Well, we are an educational nonprofit operating nationwide, and we work to improve all aspects of the teaching profession with the ultimate goal of getting every student in the U.S. access to great teaching. This slide shows our 4 main priorities. Our Teaching Fellows programs is just one part of TNTP, and we focus on that first priority of supplying strong new teachers. Now, we have 5 programs across the United States for the summer's cohort. We're in Baltimore, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and New Orleans. Each of our programs prepare teachers for the students in some of our most disadvantaged communities, where we see systemic inequities and prejudices denying too many children access to great education. As graduates of TNTP Teaching Fellows, principals will know that you are not simply a certified teacher, but a teacher with a proven track record of classroom success. Our training program has 3 main components. The first is a 5 to 8 week intensive training over the summer, which we call pre-service training. It's designed to give you the foundation to successfully and confidently enter the classroom. The second component is coursework, so that you can get certified to teach in the state where your program is located. And the third component is customized support from our excellent coaches. All right, so I know that was a very quick overview, but I'm sure you all loved everything you just heard, so let's go over the application process. The first step is to submit an application online. If you haven't already done so, our next application deadline is Tuesday, February 20th. Applications are evaluated on a rolling basis, so you don't have to wait until February 20th to submit. Apply early to increase your chance of getting your first choice program location. After you submit, our team will review your application and let you know by email in about 2 to 3 weeks if you're invited to the next step, which is the interview. In the interview, you'll get a chance to further demonstrate your passion for teaching and your fit for our Teaching Fellows programs. After your interview, we will contact you within about 2 weeks to let you know what our next steps are. Now, depending on which program location you're interviewing for, your next steps may mean finalizing some program requirements, things like registering for the state tests. Then you'll be extended an offer to enroll. And when you officially enroll, you'll be embarking on a powerful journey and experience that will prepare you for success in pre-service training, in getting hired as a full-time teacher in one of our partner schools, and of course, in completing certification requirements. It truly is a rewarding time, and we're hopeful that all of you on the line today will be a part of this year's cohort. Now let's dive into the meat of this webinar and talk about how you can prepare and set yourself up for success in the interview process. All right, so we use a unique interview system. It's a recorded video interview, and it allows you the flexibility to complete it at any time when you're at your best. And we want you to perform at your best. And so let's talk about how best to prepare. About 2 days before doing your interview, we recommend that you start with a few things. If you have kept a copy of your written application, you may want to review your responses to the short essays. They can help you get into that mindset of the types of questions that we ask. You'll also be provided 2 blog posts for you to read before your interview. They'll probably take you about 20 to 30 minutes to read, and they give really helpful context, particularly for one of the interview questions that asks specifically about your thoughts on a teacher's responsibility in understanding race, identity, power, and class. You'll probably also want to do some research. You can read the information available on our website to understand how our program works. Definitely make sure to check out our applicant toolkit that we have online. We've received great feedback that it's been super helpful for lots of our candidates, so be sure to take full advantage of that. You might also want to browse the news about what's happening in education, especially in the community that you hope to serve. Now, in some of the interview questions, you'll be asked about how you will respond to different classroom situations. So to prepare for those questions, you can think about the kinds of classroom scenarios you might face and practice responding out loud to a friend, to a colleague, or a family member, and maybe even jot down some notes and have them handy for when you're doing your interview. Now, in your responses, you may want to consider a few things that I have listed here on the slide. First, consider how will you set yourself apart? Think about what makes you unique. Be prepared to share some real life stories from your experiences that give us a glimpse of who you are and how you might be a great fit for our program. Secondly, leverage your transferable skills. Now, I know most of you probably have not had full-time teaching experience, but that's definitely okay. Have you mentored or tutored students? Do you have deep knowledge of the specific subject area that you're looking to teach? Let us know those skills that you have and how you think that will make you an outstanding teacher. And lastly, remember that your application is considered holistically. So don't worry if you aren't sure how to answer a particular question. Again, we completely understand that you may have limited or no teaching experience. That's why you're applying to our program. But we are interested in your thought processes. And so we look at your application as a whole. Okay. So now that we are fully prepared for the interview, let's talk about the specifics of the interview system itself. And I just wanted to mention, again, if you have any questions as I'm talking through any of this, feel free to type them into the questions box. We do have Carol and Adam here on the line to help answer, or we may save them for the end as we talk through the questions and answers. All right, so as I mentioned, we have a unique interview format. I am super excited about this, the recorded video interview. It's a really awesome opportunity. You'll get to actually see the faces and hear the voices of our program staff asking you the questions. and you'll get to record yourself responding to their questions. Now, when you are invited to the interview, you will receive 2 important emails. The first email is the official invitation, and it will include the program location and subject area that you are invited to interview with, and a link to how you can begin preparing for the interview questions. So basically all the things that we had just talked about in the previous slide. And it will include the links to the 2 blog posts as well. Once you get this official invitation, we recommend going ahead and reserving some time for yourself to complete the interview. Again, since the interview is completely virtual and pre-recorded, you can take advantage of this by finding any time that is convenient for you, whenever you know that you won't be distracted and when you will be able to perform at your best. So whether that's 6 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, whenever works best for you. Now, we do encourage you to try to submit your recorded video interview within about a week. And that's because, as you probably know, we do extend offers on a rolling basis. So, of course, the sooner you interview, the sooner you'll know about your application status. The second email that you'll receive after you're invited, you'll get that within about an hour or 2 right after your first official email. And this will have your own personalized interview link. So whenever you're ready to actually do your interview, you'll start by clicking on that personalized link. Now, when you click on your personalized link, you'll be taken to a program's welcome page. And here on the screen, you see an example of our Baltimore program's welcome page. And when you scroll down on this page, you'll see some text with some more details about the video interview. And at the very bottom, you'll click a button that says Next to take you on to the next page. And that next page is very important. This is where it guides you through how to check your technology, like your computer, your webcam, and your microphone, just to make sure that they're working and compatible with the system before you start recording your interview responses. There is a short optional 2.5-minute video that you can see here in the green box, which shows you how to check your equipment. When you scroll down further on that same page, you'll see this equipment testing question. And this is where you'll record yourself counting to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to test your video and audio. Also, something we've seen several candidates forget to do is update their Adobe Flash Player. There is a link here to make sure that your computer has the latest version. I promise you that by doing this, it will help eliminate most little hiccups that you might come across by not doing so. Also, when you do scroll down a little bit further on the same page, you'll see a reminder to make sure that your browser is up to date as well. The system we use works best with either Google Chrome or Firefox. So you don't see it here on the screen, but there are links that are provided on the screen to update your browser. This is another area where if you make sure to do this, I promise you it will make the interview go that much more smoothly. And then at the bottom of the page, once you're ready, you'll check the box off that says that you are ready to go, and then you'll click Next. So at that next page, you'll see our first practice question. And as it says here on the page, your answer to the practice questions will not be evaluated as part of your application, but it's a really great way for you to get used to hearing a question being asked and for you to practice recording the response. And I highly recommend that you do this at least once, if not a couple of times, so that you feel comfortable with using the system. And so just like in a real question, for the practice question, when you are ready to do that recording, you'll click on the button here that says Open Recorder. Now, the screen for the practice question looks exactly what the real questions look like. So on the left side of the screen is a member of our program staff asking the question. And that question video starts automatically. You will not be able to pause or replay that question. On the right side of the screen, you'll see yourself. So here on our slide, you see our selection associate, Adam, getting ready to do the practice question. After the question is asked, you are given 30 seconds to think about your answer. You can feel free to use that time to jot down some notes. And then the recorder will begin automatically. You wouldn't want to start speaking before it starts recording because, of course, it won't capture anything that you say before it starts recording. And after you record the practice question, you will be able to replay it and re-record it. You can do that practice question up to 3 times. So as I say here at the bottom of the slide, take as much time as you need here to feel comfortable with using the recording feature. But you should know that for a real interview question, the system will display for you how many attempts you get to record each response. So it's usually only 1 or 2 times. This is because we want to simulate a live interview where you are expected to answer on your feet. So we limit the number of attempts you have for the real questions in order to mimic more of a live interview. When you're done with the practice question, you'll be ready to start recording the real interview. So there are a total of 6 questions in the interview. You'll click on the open recorder button when you're ready to hear the first question and record your response. So again, just like in the practice question, the video of the program staff asking the question will automatically begin. You won't be able to pause or replay the question, so you may want to have pen and paper next to you ready to jot down a couple of notes while you're listening. The bottom left timer shows how long that video of the question is, just to give you an idea. Once the question is asked, just like in the practice, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your answer. That preparation timer is shown on the top left of the screen. You can always bypass that 30 seconds or shorten the 30 seconds and just start recording at any time by clicking on the green Start Recording button under your video. What's not shown on the screen is that the question is also provided in text format right under the program staff's video. It won't be word for word what they say, but it will be the main prompt of the question. So if you're anything like me, having that visual is really helpful for me to process the question and get me thinking. Before the recorder starts, you will see a final 3-second countdown over your video, over your face, just letting you know when the recorder will begin. You will have 2 minutes to answer each question before moving on to the next question. The answer time countdown is shown in the top left of your screen. And if you don't need the full 2 minutes, you can always click on the red Stop Recording and Save button under your video once you're done responding. After you record question 1, you'll have a chance to replay your recording. If there are any technical issues with your recording, for example, if the audio didn't record, you will have the ability to re-record. This is where things may differ a little bit in the system depending on which program location you're interviewing for. For example, in some cases, you might be able to just automatically re-record if there is a tech issue, or you just may need to quickly reach out to our 24/7 support team to troubleshoot. You'll see at the bottom of every page in the interview system a button for Send Us a Message, and you can click there and you'll get an immediate response within minutes from the support team. Now you can pause in between questions if you'd like to take a break or want to reference any materials. You'll want to do that before you click on the open recorder for the next question. Because once you hit open recorder, again, that question video of the staff asking the question automatically starts and you won't be able to stop it. And just so you know, what's really great is that if you do take a break and if you need to close out of your browser for any reason, you can always go back to your interview by clicking on that same personalized link that you got in your email, and the system will know to take you right back to where you left off. So I won't show you every single question here since each question basically follows the same steps. But after you've completed all 6 questions, you'll be taken to this final page here. Make sure that you click Complete to fully submit your interview. And our team will be notified and someone will personally review your videos and you'll get an email in about 2 weeks about your application status. All right, so that is the video interview system. Before I move on to a couple final interview tips, I'd love to take a quick poll to see if you all felt these slides that I just showed you was helpful. This is the first time that we've done something like this, and I'd love to get your thoughts. So on your screen, in about 2 seconds, you're going to see a poll pop up. If you don't mind just taking 5 seconds to respond to that poll, your feedback would be really helpful for us. All right, thank you all so much. I appreciate that. So hopefully you're feeling really good about preparing for the interview questions and have a pretty good idea what the system looks like. I just have a few final tips to share. First, you want to be sure to block out enough time to complete your interview. Generally, we recommend that about 30 minutes or so can help you fully complete all 6 questions in one sitting. However, if you need to, as I mentioned, you can start and resume an interview in between questions. Make sure to create the right space for you to do the interview. We want you to shine. We want you to do your best. So try to minimize any distractions when you're recording your interview. Find a quiet room, hang up a do not disturb sign, put your phone on silent, and lay out all the materials that you might want to reference right in front of you. The neat thing about our recorded video interviews is that you can have little cheat sheets and paper to scribble down your thoughts before recording. So definitely feel free to take advantage of this. Have pen and paper ready to go in a place where you can easily take notes. Treat this like a real interview, even though you may be completing it in your living room. So, dress as you would if you were to go to a live in-person interview. And lastly, try to have fun with it and smile. It really is a neat interview system, and you get to hear a lot from our program staff members whom you'll be interacting with a lot throughout the program. You know that we invited you, or hope you know that we invited you to interview because we saw some great potential in you as a teacher through your application, and we're really eager to learn more about you. So be confident about your experiences, your strengths, and your ideas. So just a few other interview logistics. Since we enroll on a rolling basis, as I had mentioned earlier, we do recommend that once you get your invitation to interview, that you continue that momentum in your application process and submit your interview as soon as you can. You're only a couple steps away from enrolling once you've been invited, so we do recommend submitting within about that 7-day time frame. But let us know if you need an extension or require a different way to interview. We're super flexible. We're here to help you. We want you to have a positive interview experience with us. So please don't hesitate to contact us at any time. Try not to worry about the technology and really focus on just the content of your interview. Again, we are here for you. If for any reason you run into any tech issues, we have that 24/7 support team that I mentioned. They're all just sitting there waiting to help troubleshoot any issues that you come across. So definitely, again, do not hesitate to contact us. And again, after you submit your interview, we will be in touch within about 2 weeks, sometimes even sooner. And during that time, if you have any questions, we encourage you to reach out to us by email. We do host weekly office hours for each of our different programs, so you're welcome to join that by phone to learn more about each of our programs and ask questions that you have on your mind while you're waiting. All right, phew. Well, I know that was a lot of information. I'm sure you have plenty of questions. So I'd like to sort of leave the last 5 minutes of our time together to go through some of your common questions. I know that also Adam has just been so involved in this process from the very beginning and has heard plenty of questions from candidates going through the process as well. So I'd love to turn the mic over to Adam to go through any frequently asked questions he has received. Adam, are you there? You may just want to unmute yourself.
Hi, Anh-Thi.
Yeah, Carol.
We do have one question that came in. When will the interview be given? Someone said you may have already answered this, but they wanted to know, when will the interview be given to candidates?
Sure. Great question, Carol. Thank you. So basically what happens is after you submit your application online, we do have a team that reviews each application individually. Within about 2 to 3 weeks, you receive an email back about your status, and that email will let you know whether or not you've been invited. And that's when you'll also then be given the link for you to access your video profile so that you can record your interviews. I hope that helps to answer your question. So it's about 2 to 3 weeks after you submitted your online application. So just keep an eye out in your emails. Sometimes we've seen that our emails get sent to spam and junk folders. So just keep an eye out on that as well. If that timeline, we get to close to the 2 to 3 weeks, and you still haven't heard from us, you're always, of course, welcome to reach out to us as well if you have questions while you're waiting.
And Anh-Thi, if someone is having trouble with their interview and they want to get in touch with someone, what's the best way to reach back out to you?
Yes, perfect question. And we get a ton of those. So there's a lot of different ways to reach out. Our main email address, which I'm sure all of you know by now by heart, but if not, it's info@tntpteachingfellows.org. That is our main email address where we have Carol on the line, Adam's on there, I'm on there, along with a dozen of folks who are eager to answer your questions. So any questions that are specific to the interview itself will get routed to Adam or myself, and we'll be able to answer your questions. Anything that we aren't able to handle ourselves sort of logistically, we'll loop in the tech manager to make sure that you are really taken care of. This should be as a simple and quick of a process for you as possible, and we want to make this a fun experience for you.
Great. And Anh-Thi, it looks like we have about 2 more minutes, so someone wanted to know the last opportunity to get information that you mentioned specific to each area. They want to know more information about that.
Oh, sure. About the office hours. Great question. We do have a link actually, Carol, maybe you might know, in the applicant toolkit where we list all of the office hours for each program. What we can probably do is I can include this in the email after the session. With the link to those office hours. It's really fantastic. All of our recruitment associates will host one every week specific to their program locations. And you can dial in at any point. You can ask questions, or you can just listen in to see if other people have questions that may pertain to you. It's a really nice sort of easy way to get live touch with someone on the team.
And also, it looks like we have several questions, just generally program-related questions. And I would like to just say if folks can write those specific questions in terms of what's a day like once you started. Stephanie, who is our alumni ambassador, she also answers questions on the inbox, and she is also an alum of the program. So if you have program-related questions, I would like to encourage you, like Anh-Thi said earlier, to shoot us an email at info@tntpteachingfellows.org. And yes, someone asked about the deadline. The next deadline is February 20th.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. Appreciate it. I loved all the questions. If you, again, like Carol said, if you have any questions that weren't answered, please do email us. We'd love to be in touch with you. Unfortunately, right now, we are out of time. Again, thank you so much for your time. Before I let you all go, though, I did want to do one last quick poll. This one is just quickly checking in to see how you feel about the interviews right now. So you'll see that show up on your screen, and you can quickly take 5 seconds to respond. All right, thank you. I put up here on the screen, again, our email address, our website. We do have Facebook and Instagram. Please feel free to share us with your friends and family. Carol and Adam, thank you so much for fielding your questions just throughout the session today. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. Good luck in your interview and have a great night. Bye, everyone.